I would like to say hi and welcome everyone. I'm so glad that you could join us. I'm Isabel Faulkner, the principal of the Giles School. And for some of you that don't know who the Giles School is, it's a French immersion co-ed school that goes from PK to grade 8. We were founded in 1989, and we also offer Mandarin from JK to all the way up to grade 8. And we also give exposure to the Russian language, Spanish, and Arabic. And within the curriculum, we also give, we have science engineering, which include coding, robotics, and chess. And started this September, I'm really happy about this. The after school clubs are coming back. We're allowed to do it under the new guidelines. So we have a long list of choice for after school clubs. So this will be posted on the website and also to our parents. So I am excited about this roundtable because we have amazing panelists with us today. We have some current parents and also an alumna. Usually we would have a booth in the Our Kids School Fair, but this Zoom format, I feel, makes our chat a little bit more intimate. And I know that having meeting face-to-face and showing the school in action to our parents, it gives the best view and atmosphere of our school community. But still, this is still not possible and at the moment, and that's why I'm delighted to have Rita, Gulnar, and Malini with us so we can hear their firsthand experience with us as alumni and parents at the Giles School. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our panelists. We'll start with Rita, if I may. Rita, if you can introduce yourself and tell us when you started at the Giles School and for how long you've been with us and which school you are at the moment.
So hi, my name is Rita. I've been at Giles, I think since JK. I was at the school for so long, I can't even remember. JK up until grade 8 when I graduated in 2019. And now I'm going into grade 11 at Hudson College.
Great, okay. Golnar, Malini, who wants to start first? If you can introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been a parent at the Giles School, how many children you have with us, and whether you're a member of the PA or the class rep, or if you're involved in the school. So who wants to start?
Go ahead, Melanie.
Okay. Hi, I'm Malini Dave. My daughter, Netra Dave, is in the Giles School. She started in senior kindergarten and she's at present entering grade 6. So it's been a lovely few years at the Giles School. I don't even know if I'm like part of a formal parent association. I have to say I've been more involved, sort of just volunteering on trips, participating in a career day, sort of just being present whenever I can. That's been how much I've been involved. I also happen to spend a lot of time in school just because I'm really curious what my daughter is up to many times. So every time I get, yeah, that's how I've been. We've been at the Giles School for a while. So far, so good. Looking forward to the next few years.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. Golnar, what about you?
Hi, I'm Golnar. I have currently 2 kids at the Giles School. There will be a 3rd one starting in September, and then a 4th one in a few years. So my son, they started in pre-K 2. And right now my son is also starting grade 6. My daughter started in pre-K 2 and she's going to be entering grade 3. And my little one will be starting pre-K 2 in September.
Yes.
We've been there for a while. And I am part of the parent association. And in addition to that, same thing as Melanie said, just kind of help out on trips, volunteer at the school. Also kind of for the same reason, I feel like I want to be present so they know I'm always around. So other than this past couple of years, I tend to spend a lot of time at the school. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yes, excellent. Thank you so much. It's true that our parent association and our parent community is very involved, and that's why we like is an open door policy. So, I mean, I know that last year, unfortunately, parents could not go in, and visitors were not permitted inside the school facility. Hopefully, we'll see what the government say. At the moment, it's still debatable. But again, school trip will be back this year, so you know, parents volunteer will be welcome, definitely. Right. Yeah. So if we can start with Rita, we can start the question with you if you don't mind. I'd like to say, what did you appreciate the most about the school, you know, your time with us, and how's your perspective on the change now that you have some distance from the school?
I appreciate the most the study periods. I didn't realize how lucky I was to have an allotted amount of time at the end of the school day to finish my homework and finish my project and, you know, talk to teachers that I had to ask questions with. And my perspective on that, I think it changed to be much more grateful, because I even though at my current school I have a study period, I guess I'd say it's more casual almost. I'm really, really grateful that the Giles teachers allowed me to have this time to just focus more.
Yes. So the study period for you was it helping you with regard for the French language or math and science, that sort of things?
It helped me a lot with Mandarin. The first couple of years that I was there, I was kind of struggling with Mandarin. It wasn't my best, and it took me a while, actually. So I was really grateful that I can go to Miss Lucy at the end of the day and talk to her and, you know, sit down with my textbook and just work it all out.
Yeah, and interesting. That's really, it's true. Mandarin is not an easy language, and obviously we started really early, so that helps, but still, it's the one of the most difficult language to learn. Have you kept your Mandarin?
Yes, I have actually. At my current school, we have this exchange program. So I've been lucky enough to be selected to go and, you know, converse and tour the exchange students. And I have used my Mandarin skills quite a lot, actually. So.
That's great. That's fantastic. So to the best of your knowledge, what differentiates our school to other schools, you think?
I'd say the native speakers. I applied to a bunch of schools, and I know a bunch of people who have been, you know, in Mandarin programs and French programs, but none of their teachers were native speakers, which almost watered down their way of learning the language. So having native speakers at the school really helps, you know, to listen and to just watch.
All right, that's interesting. Yes, it is important. I'm a huge believer of bilingual education, and having native speaker to teach the language, being French, English, Spanish, they have to be native speaker. And again, native speaker is not the right term. It must be proficient, and also to have the accent, if we can call it that. But it is important for sure. This is a really interesting question. I don't know how you're going to respond to this one, but if the school were to be represented as a person, what would its personality be like? So you have three choices or three ways to describe it.
Okay. I say the first word would be driven. Driven academically, almost, you know. The teachers and the students too are all very driven, you know, to achieve the highest results possible. The second word I would say would be dedicated. The teachers, once again, are very dedicated to giving their students the best possible academic lessons and values. And the students are also very dedicated, to sit there and learn a new language as they're juggling, other classes too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say the last word would be lucky. Giles is very lucky to have, such an array of teachers and students, from different cultures and different backgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
And having this really, it just gives a very friendly atmosphere that you can't find in a lot of schools. And Giles is very lucky to have that.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much. That's a great answer. Love that. Now, a question that I would like to, yes, we have to ask the question and hear your thoughts about it. So what one thing you would like to change about the school if you had, for the better, and if you had to choose something, what it would be?
Going back to what I was talking about, study periods, if I could change, I would change the time that the study periods were at.
Okay.
In my personal opinion, I think having study period at the end of the day, students are tired from, working all day. And I think that maybe having study period before lunch or after lunch, they still have the energy and it kind of just gets the work out of the way for the end of the day.
Okay. Okay, it's a good suggestion. Thank you very much. That's, it's a good idea. And what do you think, what would families find more surprising about the school?
I'd say that families find the array of languages and activities students can pursue at the school the most surprising.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For small school, it's true that there's a lot of things going on, and even that we just pre-K to grade 8, we try to have a most diversified list of activities and initiative and programs that our students can participate in. Because I understand that you were in the English debate program. Is that correct?
I was.
Yeah. Did you like that?
I did. I enjoy debating. I actually also did a debate camp too.
Excellent. Yes. And you did also some community initiative. You had, tell me a little bit more about that.
At Giles, we had a bunch of, community programs. One of them that I remember the most, and I think the most fondly because we got pasta, was the second harvest.
Yes.
When we did, I remember the photo booth, and I remember taking photos with the green masks, and all the students loved it. We were running around with our green masks and our pins and our stickers for having the pasta lunch. And we did it every year. And I remember the girls especially loved this, the Me to We Foundation. I remember the were a really big thing too.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Hopefully, again, we can start again this year. Hoping. But definitely, these are a great initiative. And again, it sort of brings the community together, parents and students, and everybody get involved. It's really nice. So what advice would you give to students that would like to join our school?
I would tell students not to get overwhelmed. If they're coming in and they see that they have to learn French and English and Mandarin, it can seem like a lot at the time, but the school does a really, really great job at, dividing each language and each subject so that students don't have to feel stressed or have too much work on their hands. All
right. Okay. Yeah. It's true. When I explain our program to our prospective parent, they just think, well, how do you put everything in a week? How you can put all the languages and the initiative and the a different how can I say this, the different after school activities, sorry, that's what I was looking for. But we do manage, and when we explain to parents, they are really grateful. The other thing also parents are often ask me is like, my child doesn't speak French, how my child will be able to start school. So did you find a difficulty yourself when you arrived? If you remember?
I can't exactly remember. I just know that my French got better over the years, much quicker than it did Mandarin. I always kind of struggled with Mandarin, but French, I was really able to, get on that really quick. And that French language and skills that I've acquired over the years at the school, I still continue to use today.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. Yeah. All right. And so what is your best memory of the Giles School?
Definitely the fun fairs.
The fun fairs, yes.
I remember that. I even remember I went to the last Giles Fun Fair and with all my friends and even some of the students who graduated school prior and who left a couple of years earlier. And I remember we were just all, hanging around at the pool. And that's my favorite memory. I think I can remember almost every single year I went.
Oh, that's lovely. That's great. So do you think that the Giles School prepared you well for your high school?
100%. I almost was, my current school was it was too easy for me, I had to do extended French at my current school, and even then that was too easy for me. And
okay.
Yeah, math and science also, I knew all the equations we had to do, and it was just really lucky of me to have this foundation that I could have in my first year of high school, especially, because of the transition, but I aced all my classes.
That's great. Okay. Oh, it's good to hear. It's hard to get the feedback of our alumni when they leave, and that's good to hear that they were not struggling or anything like this. They'll actually be well prepared when they get to more selective school, in fact. So thank you so much for that. That's lovely. And maybe last question. So did you do any extracurricular activities?
At Giles, I can't remember, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I had a coding program and robotics program during school.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Okay.
It's pretty fun.
Oh, good. Excellent. Yes. Well, these are my questions. Thank you so much, Rita. That's really kind of you to participate. And now we're going to be moving to our parents. So again, we have Malini with us and Golnar. I'll ask Golnar first. I said a bit the same sort of questions. So why did you choose the Giles School originally? And sort of second part question, in which ways the school is what you expected? And if it was not what you expected, why not?
Sure. So I chose the Giles School because I was looking for a French school, number one. And when I came and looked at the school, to be honest with you, I was very hesitant because I wasn't sure about private school. It was an ongoing debate between my husband and I. I wanted public and he wanted private. So I said, okay, let me just go check it out. So when I went, I was so pleasantly surprised. I was watching the pre-K classroom, the pre-K2 classroom, and I just, the teacher that was working at the time was just the most like loving, motherly teacher I've ever seen. And she had that perfect balance of like loving the kids and, still you don't mess around, follow the rules, that sort of thing. So first off, that really made me feel, comfortable. And then it was just amazing seeing little kids at like 3-4 years old switching back and forth between French and English, just with such ease. And when I spoke to the teacher, I think at the time that I was visiting, it was probably like April or so. And when I spoke to the teacher, she was like, yeah, they're like sponges at this age. Just give them a few months and it comes. Because I was nervous about the introducing a new language. So I think that teacher and that classroom experience really sold me on it. and then when we started there, when my son started there, it turned out to be exactly what I had expected. I expected to see, good education, good teachers, and that's all I've seen since we've been there. I guess the only thing that I didn't quite expect, because like I said, I didn't want a private school. So what I got that I didn't expect was actually a positive thing, was that it was so, like, the families and the teachers and the school, everybody involved are super down to earth. It's very much a community. Everybody within, like, after we finished that first year of school, we knew everybody in the school, not just the kids in my son's class, but the other teachers, the other families. You see them in the hallways. It's just a very warm, welcoming space. So that was surprising to me.
Yes. But it's interesting you say that, because again, like I said, a lot of parents, that's the first question they ask me when they come in for pre-K1 or pre-K2. It's like, we don't speak French at home, so how are you going to do this? And one of the questions I ask them is, do you speak a different language at your home, different language? And I could ask you the same thing. Do you speak another language at home?
I do, yeah. I speak Farsi, and my husband speaks Arabic.
Okay.
Although my son does speak, my husband did go to French school, so he's fluent in French, but I wasn't.
Yes.
And that was one of my questions as well, because at the time my husband was traveling a lot. So it was going to be mostly me working with the kids. And I can tell you, it's never been an issue, especially now that there's Google Translate.
Yeah, Google Translate is getting better, but we shouldn't rely too much. Our job is to do our job right, and we don't need it.
True.
Marie, what do you think?
So lots of similar comments to Golnar, but when we thought of a school for Netra, she had been in a Montessori settings before then, and for us, we thought she was just ready for something which had a little bit more structure. She was getting older, so I think I had a list of schools, of which Giles just happened to be the closest. So we went to Giles. I went to Giles. Lots of happy students. It was pizza day, which I didn't know. But I think the atmosphere is very similar to what Golna described. It was really friendly. I just walked in. The teacher just asked me to attend like a few minutes of her class. I did that. So it was a very easy atmosphere. What we specifically were looking for was, we grew up in India, so we've always been exposed to lots of languages. So just exposure to languages was important to us. French is one of the official languages. So obviously we wanted her to know French. None of us, of all the languages we speak between us, French is not one of them at home. So I had some concerns as to how I would be able to work with her. So that was a little bit of a question in my mind. But I have to say, I feel like from an expectation point of view, I got everything I wanted. It's an accelerated academic curriculum, which is amazing, which is what we did want. She slipped into the class really easily, picked up on French. I never had to work with her. So I would say that's an unexpected benefit, that I didn't have to actually do homework with her. She kind of did it on her own or with the teacher's help.
Yes.
The small class sizes was something we were actively looking for. So that was something that we felt that we did get. In terms of other reasons for coming to the school in the first place, there were lots of positive reviews that came both from my colleagues and our friends. We actually didn't go to any of the other schools in our list. We just stuck with Giles. So some of the unexpected benefits would have been, I think, normally you expect teachers to be competent, but I think the level of competence I was really impressed by. Like year after year, the teachers have been able to sort of, I think, fit in a large amount of academic work in a very nurturing manner. And I'm always surprised, because it's not like we pre-screen children at the Giles School. They just come in, so they're at completely different levels, and then they sort of easily slip into teaching all of them, similar information in a lovely manner. And I think that was an unexpected benefit that we thought. The other one is that you mentioned it already, the open door policy. So I feel like even in the last year, actually it's been really easy. If not in person, there've always been phone calls. We've always been able to call the teachers, talk to the principal. So that's never been a challenge for us, even through COVID. And I think an unexpected benefit was, we obviously expect our children to make lifelong friends, but I feel like even some of us parents have made those friends. So that's always nice. And I feel like maybe it's because we sort of expect the same things from the school, have the same, wishes and values for our children. So all of that, it's been such a positive experience throughout.
Yeah, essentially, I love what you said, that we have an academic program, but in this taught in a nurturing way. I love this.
Yeah.
It is the DNA, I think, of the school.
Yes.
Because again, a small class size, everybody knows each other. We see older student helping the younger students, so they're not staying in their year group. They're really interacting either on the playground or within the classroom. So yes, it is lovely, and I love that that description. Yeah. So what do you think is the biggest impact the school has had on your child?
Actually, lots of impact in so many ways. If I had to, I think it is from the first, it has inculcated certain values that we agree with as parents. So, that of hard work and discipline. So for example, right from the beginning, at least my daughter joined senior kindergarten. So right from then, every day she has a certain amount of homework that's given, appropriate to her age, to her level. That can be controversial in some instances, but it's been of benefit for her.
Okay.
And I think the regularity of it has inculcated a certain, discipline and approach to her work, which has been very positive. The fact that, I feel like it has taught her values of kindness, empathy. I know from as early as grade 1, they've had sort of informal discussions on everything that seems to be hot button topics today, whether that's like, gender, ethnicity, and so on and so forth. I think the exposure that she's had Toronto is a diverse city. So first of all, we do have a lot of exposure here. But similar to what Rita mentioned and you alluded to earlier, the fact that you actually get an in-depth experience in different cultures, right? So I think that's been of immense value to her. I also think it has actually nurtured her. She's a very spontaneous person by nature. So I feel like it's nurtured that in a very positive manner, lots of positive reinforcements, lots of little projects that she can work on, show her leadership skills in.
Exactly.
So so I feel like that there have been many advocacy right off the bat. I think there've been many opportunities for her to observe, experience, practice advocacy of different kinds. So yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. So what about you, Gulnar? What's the biggest impact that the school had on your children? Now, you had 2 and the third one is coming in September. So from your point of view.
I think probably the biggest thing, also what Melanie had said, is this level, sorry, I'm at a loss for words, but hard work, basically. It's put inside of them that this is your work, you got to do it. Like very early on, like when she mentioned homework, being controversial, some people are like against it. I am not. I think that it's been such benefit to them. They come home from school and they just know we have to do this work. And because I don't speak French, it's kind of one of the side effects has been they have to do it on their own. The amount of help that I can give them is minimal. So they have to do it, figure it out. If you can't figure it out, if you don't know what this says, call a friend, look something up, email your teacher, that sort of thing. So it gives them the skills to, if I'm stuck somewhere, I have to figure it out. So I think that this emphasis on this ethic of hard work, and then as they get older, the level of independence that they give them. I don't remember at what age it was, in what grade, but it became, they used to get agendas that would come home up until, I don't know if it's grade 4 or 5, I don't know, probably 4.
Yes.
And
probably
then
4, yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, it was like, okay, now you are responsible for looking at your weekly schedule. This is due Monday, this is due Tuesday. I thought that was amazing. Now it's teaching them a whole new skill set of when are things due. Just because I have this class next, but I don't have anything due, what do I do? Like, how do I organize myself? I thought that was such a big thing to learn. So I think that really has impacted them huge. And I think the other thing is just their confidence for both of them. My daughter, when she started at Giles, basically wasn't speaking in public. She used to be at a Montessori school as well. And when she was there, I remember they gave me her like progress report. And in the section of like verbal skills, language skills, they had a meeting with me. They're like, we're a little concerned. We don't think she can speak. You might need to get her checked out. And I was like, she can speak. And like I showed her teachers videos of her speaking in Farsi and in English. And they were just floored because they had never heard her speak because she just wouldn't speak in public. Yes. And then after about 2 weeks of being at Giles, she was a completely different person. And I honestly can't equate that to anything other than the incredible teachers that she had who just made her so comfortable, and her friends in her classroom who made her so comfortable and made her feel the way she would feel at home with us and with our like family friends. So it just brought out this next level of confidence in her that I still see, and I'm so thankful for. So thankful.
Oh, that's amazing. It's funny you mentioned the agenda. I remember usually my sons, when he was in grade school, middle school, they introduced the agenda, and he needed it, but he didn't have the skill set to look at the agenda and see, and use it, and then project himself a week later and see where he was, what work he had to do or what test he has to study. And that used to be I was pulling my hair out. I said, why can he not use an agenda? And finding out from my parents that yes, from grade 4, agenda are introduced, but they are capable to use them by themselves. You don't need the parents to remind them, but did you look at your agenda? Or the teachers sort of going back and make sure that everything is written in the agenda. So it's good to know. So like you said, it's a great skill set to have. And again, it teaches responsibility and how to plan your work. And it's hard for children to plan for the future. And the future for them is like, it's tomorrow, it's 2 days. Yeah, that's it's a really short period of time. So that's an interesting point you made right there. So what do you think your child would say about, or your children would say about Giles?
They love it. They are constantly checking in with me to make sure that we're not moving them out of the school. Like, we're still coming back next year, right? So they both made it very clear they want to stay until graduation. They've been with the same kids since they were toddlers. So they're very happy. I mean, all kids have their ups and downs, but even I feel like that's even another skill that they've learned is to, these are the people in your class. You need to learn to cooperate. You need to learn to get along. You need to learn to be respectful, all of these things. And I think they've just all learned to become friends, as similar or dissimilar they are from one another. It's something that they've reached, this level that they've reached. So they love it there. They don't want to leave. They're very happy. During the summer, they actually ask, how much more until we go back to school?
Wow.
To be fair, once they're in school, then it's like, okay, how much more until a long weekend? How much more until the next break? So, they're kids, but they're very happy. I've never heard any complaints about the school for them.
All right. What about you, Malini?
So I also think, I think Netra loves everything about her school, especially in the last year. I think, you realize how much she's actually missed the school because it's been shuttling between online and in-person classes.
Yeah.
I feel like what she likes the most is just like the accessibility to her teachers, her principal, the ability to go down to the office, how close-knit she is to everybody in the class. I think it's a small class size, but I also think they're also tightly knit. There's nobody like in groups scattered around the class. They just do everything together. I think even over the summer, they'd all together arrange for a party for their classmate outside in a park, given COVID. But yes, but I specifically asked her because it was, what do you like about the school? And I think among the list, I can't really tell everything because there's a lot in there, but some of the things that she mentioned was basically just the fact that she has access to a lot of different languages. She feels like the artwork is really bright on the walls. She specifically mentioned the gala that happens every year, and I have to put in a word for the gala because initially when we went, we thought it was one of those stuffy affairs meant for, you know, parents, black tie, and I was actually taken aback and really surprised at how targeted towards the children it was, which is how it should be. And I think she likes the community, the school atmosphere, the Giles community. So lots of positives.
That's interesting. Yes, I don't know if you remember when you went to school, but when I went to school, in grade school and middle school and high school, definitely not. I never said to my parents when the school started again during the summer. I was like waiting, calculating all the school holidays, how many days we have. But yeah, completely different experience for when I was growing up. That's for sure. Yeah. And so that's the question I'm leading it to you. Then, what was your experience when you were in your school, in grade school? How would you compare?
Oh, yes. Is that cool? Questions? Sorry about that.
How would you compare?
I think I went to school in India. They tend to be a little bit more rigid in their approach. It's very sort of, there's a lot of discipline, maybe too much structure. So I don't think your teacher's as accessible to you. It's the focus is on academics, and it's very sort of work oriented. You sort of listen to them, but there's more of a hierarchical relationship, maybe even a little bit of fear, from what I remember.
Yeah,
and exactly. And I think our classes were bigger, so you really may not have had a chance to know everybody the way I feel my daughter knows everybody in her class. So so those differences were definitely there.
Yes, it's interesting because exactly it was mentioned the accessibility to the teachers and even to the admin people and the office. Never in my life I would have thought to go see my teacher unless I was really in difficulties, not like I couldn't manage something. Even that I will try to ask my mom or my parents to help me out, but I would never have thought to just knock on the door and say, hi, you know, can you help me anytime during the day. Basically it's refreshing, let's just say.
Yes, and the other thing is, if you got a call from the teacher when I was growing up, it's probably for something that you didn't do right.
Yes, exactly.
It is not at all the case here.
That's it. What about you, Gulnar? What was your experience when you were growing up? How does it compare?
I switched schools a lot growing up. We moved a lot. So I was never really at the same school for more than a few years. So that was one thing that I felt was, and then when I met my husband, like he'd been at the same school since he was very young. So he had friends from when he was
different experience.
Yeah. So he had friends from when he was like 5, 6 years old. And so that was one thing that I really wanted for my kids. I really wanted them to have, I don't expect them to be best friends with everybody, but I really was hoping, like Melanie said, that they would develop at least 1 or 2 lifelong friends that will be with them for a long time, because I really felt that was lacking in my life. And it's same thing, when I did get any sort of communication from the school, like if the teacher would hand you an envelope, say like, give this to your mom, you're like, oh my God, what did I do? But the teachers at Giles will just call and let you know, like, I just want to let you know he did so well in his presentation today, or, he wasn't feeling so good today. Just wanted to check and make sure he's okay. Just the stuff that I would have never experienced growing up. So it's everything. I feel like everything that was lacking for me, they're receiving now. And same thing, like Melanie said, our classrooms were quite large. So I probably knew like a handful of the kids in my class. Like, I mean, I knew everyone's name, but like nothing beyond that. But my son, I would say both my kids, they know, like they're friends with their class.
Yes. But that's it. In the bigger school setting, that's what happens anyhow, because kids won't be friends with 30 or 36 kids in their class, or even if you have more than one year group. So you still make friends with just a few of them. So again, being in a small structure like us, it replicates what it would be in a bigger structure. Kids get, they make friends with a small group, and that's being a small class size is a plus, I think. Definitely. So I think we talked about this a bit earlier, but can you name the top skills that your children has acquired at the moment so far, and then you would wish that they acquire when they graduate, by the time they graduate?
Well, I mean, my kids are 2 different ages, so I would say for both of them, I would say organization is something that they have.
Okay.
Time management is something that they've learned. The older one more so than the younger one, but she's definitely got the steps going. What other skills? I would say, I mean, there's a big emphasis on community at the school and helping the community and helping each other, and that it's not just about academics. So the fact that they've been exposed at school, not just at home, but at school to, charity work. What can we do to help people? There's the food drives that we do, the second harvest, like Rita mentioned. I think those are what I wanted for them, is to have that side of their life just be an expectation. Like, you don't help people because it's nice. You don't help people because you have enough to give, so you're going to give. But I want it to be, this is life. Like, you have to. It's not an option. Whether or not you have an abundance or if you are barely scraping by, you have to. Like, you have to find a way to help. And I find that that's definitely a skill that the Giles is teaching them, especially with my son, with the older one. It's, okay, what are you good at? What can you offer? And let's use that. So I think that's big, and I think that's a huge skill that they've both picked up. In terms of what I want them to pick up, it's a good question. I haven't really thought about that. I don't know. I guess I would just say just to continue along the path that they're on right now. Maybe Melanie's answer will spark something in my head, but I think just to strengthen the things that they're working on right now, that would make me happy. Yeah.
Sure. What about you, Melanie?
So similar. I think of it as, sort of initiation and maintenance, right? So it's sort of in the elementary ages. You think of it as hard work. Hard work counts, and you have to work hard if you want to. It's not enough to have an interest. You actually have to work towards it. So I think that's a lesson that's been taught, and that I respect. I think to have high expectations of yourself, that you need to achieve some things. And again, how do you get there? To make a plan to do it. I think that's something that she has learned. I think my third one was going to be, like, as Golna mentioned, just in terms of advocacy, but it was basically kindness and empathy, to be non-judgmental, just to, be kind. I mean, I work in the medical field, so we see a lot of bullying. So, just be kind to people. And I would hope that these are just maintained, and as you go from year to year, you get more confidence in those values, and that they actually count for something. I'd be happy with that. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think you made a strong point, because we've seen in the last few years that kindness, you feel that it's been eroded, but to a certain extent, it's being put up and championed more and more, because that's it. People realize that kindness is more important than wealth or statures and that sort of thing. And that's why I think the 3 pillars of our school, which is inclusive, innovative, and international and inclusive, for me is like the 2 major pillars of our school. Inclusive, as we talked, different nationalities, different cultures. We have people from around the world that speak, I don't know how many different languages. And then being non-selective, and that's the whole point. Like, every child has a strength and a talent. I don't like to say they have a weakness. I don't think it's correct to say, but I would say every child has a talent and a strength, and we have to discover that, and we have to make them explore it and literally, take responsibility and ownership of it, and then run with it. So I'm glad to hear that that the skills that your children have acquired at school and will continue to acquire until they graduate is what you were, aiming for and we're able to deliver. So again, I'm thankful for that. So again, the same sort of question: if the school were to be represented by a person, what would personality be like? So three words, three descriptive.
I'd probably give the exact same words that my daughter's, I feel, has gained. So I feel if the school were a person, keeping it gender neutral, would probably be just a school. It's a person that I would think is very hardworking, always working for the betterment of their family. Is really non-judgmental and expects a lot from you. So those would be the things that I would think of.
All right. Golnar, similar or?
Yeah, similar. I think I would say this is a person who is very accepting and inclusive of people. It's a person who's warm and caring, I guess. Those would be the three words that I would say.
That's nice. Yes, like that. And I guess I think more for families, but coming from your end, families and communities, you've been involved a lot and you've been with us for some time now. So how would you describe the values of the school?
I would say that there's a big emphasis on creating well-rounded, well-prepared kids for the future, whether it's academic or social, community. I think those are big values in the school. We're not just regurgitating information that we're taking in.
Yes.
It's really to get kids to kind of take a responsibility in their education, to care for their education, and then what can you do with the position that you're in? What can you do with the privileges that you've been given, with the skill set that you've been given? So yeah, that's what I would say, is that the values are to create well-prepared kids to be well-prepared and productive adults.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I think I would echo Golnar's words in that I think they've managed to wrap it really well. I don't know how you managed to do the whole accelerated academics with all the advocacy projects that you have, sort of delivered in a very nice, nurturing manner that you're not really aware that you're doing these things, but you are in a day. So I think the sort of natural way in which that happens, I think is really nice.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much. I think we're a bit early, but that's fine. With regard to questions, I don't have any more, but I really appreciate what you've been telling us. Again, I think we can see from our panels, we are really international and inclusive and innovative. And with the school reopening, we can finally show a little bit more what we can do and showcase it to the world around. So again, thank you so much to our panelists who agreed to be with us today, and for giving your thoughts and sharing your stories with us. So I appreciate it. And I look forward to you taking your next steps in your Giles School journey. And thank you again, and have a great afternoon.